Hello, brothers and sisters. Sister Cheri here from A Woman's Prayer and Severed Roots of Our Faith Ministries. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about faith. And, you know, we can talk about faith, but really, you know, our faith is really put to the test when we are down in in a low place, maybe even at our very lowest. Some of us have issues in our health. Some have issues in our finances, in our families, and we are brought down to a very low place. And it's when we reach out in faith, that's the kind of faith that God wants us to have. That even when we are at a low point, or even at the lowest point of our lives, that when we can reach out that hand of faith, that's when God really rewards us. And it might not be in this life or in this walk, but it will be in the next. Just speaking personally from my own personal experience here, I've been sick for about a month, and I've gotten a little better with things and a little worse on some things. And you know, I've went through some strange, I've had this virus, and it turned into infection, 2 different kinds of infections, and it's really weighed on my health. And I've already have health issues as it is, a lot of serious, you know, more kind of serious chronic health conditions on top of that. But then you add this, it's been a really humdinger of a virus, and these infections are just the end result of it. And I was at a point at one time in this virus that I was ridden with anxiety and panic, and that's something that I've never had in my whole life, that I can remember. And it was, you know, until I could actually, in my mind, tell myself that God has this, and I turned it over to God in my, you know, in my heart, I just laid it at the throne, and I gave it to God, and I reached out in faith, knowing that God was going to heal me, in either way or another. If something were to take my life, then that was God's will, and I started to live in God's will, and things for me started to turn around. They really did. I have not been riddled with those anxiety or panic attacks that I was having, and really a peace has come over me. And I'm here to say that, you know, at your lowest point, you know, we had a house fire a little over 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and we lost almost everything, and we lost 3 pets in the process, but all the people got out fine. And at that point, you know, we could have just laid around and wallowed in our self-pity, but really my husband and I really reached out even stronger, and our faith was built even stronger during that time. And that's really when I came to know God the greatest, was during that time. And it was a very low point. I did have some times where I was kind of in self-pity a little bit, but then, you know, God always picks me back up, and just like he did with this virus and these infections, I know that he's going to heal me and pick me back up. And if he doesn't, then that is his will, and I have to learn to live in his will, and so do we all. And we just reach out in blind faith. That's what we call blind faith, and that's the kind of faith that we really, to be God's children, need to have. You know, it's so easy when you're up there and life is good, and you're feeling wonderful and everything's going great. It's so easy to raise your hands and thank God for everything he gives. But it's when you're at your low points, when you're at your lowest, even if you're on your sick bed, if you're totally broke and you have no money, you have no home, or you're on your deathbed even, this is when God lifts you up. And I'm here to tell you, it really is. He requires us to make a choice if we're going to lay there and in self-pity, or lay there in our own misery, or are we going to reach out that hand of faith? And that's when we are really tested and tried, is when we are down in those valleys. So I wanted to sing this song. The song was my mom's favorite song. Well, in the end, I had never heard of the song until one day she called me and she said, Cheri, you have to get on YouTube and listen to this song. It really spoke to her, and this was right before her death. And I really believe that God gave that song to her so that she could give that to us. You know, she called not only me, but several of our family members, telling us about this wonderful song she found. And I really believe it was given to her to give to us to comfort us in our grieving time, because it really did. I can listen to that song, and it not only does it remind me of her, but it reminds me of really where we should be in our walk with God and where our faith should be. So I'm going to sing it for you now. It's called God on a Mountain. It's an old song. Linda Randall recorded it. Jason Crabb recorded it. I really love his version. But I'm going to sing it more like Linda Randall's version today. Okay, here it is. God on a Mountain. Life is easy when you're up on that mountain and you've got peace of mind like you've never known. But then things change and you're down in that valley. Well, don't lose your faith, for you're never alone. For the God on the mountain is still God in the valley. When things go wrong, He'll make them alright. Yes, He does. And the God of the good times is still God in the bad times. The God of the day is still God in the night. Yes, He is. Well, you speak of faith when you're up on that mountain, but the talk comes easy when life's at its best. But it's down in that valley, yes it is, of trials and temptations. That's when faith is really put to the test. Sure is. And the God on the mountain is still God in the valley. When things go wrong, He'll make them alright. For the God of the good times is still God in the bad times. The God of the day, He's still God in the night. For the God on the mountain is still God in the valley. When things go wrong, He'll make them alright. For the God of the good times is still God in the bad times. The God of the day, He's still God in the night. God of the day. He's still God in the night. Amen. Yes, He is. Yes, He is. So if you find yourself down in the valley and you are just, you feel like you're lost and that there's no hope and that God is not with you, He's there. He's there. Just reach out in blind faith and He'll grab a hold of that hand. So I hope this song blessed you today and this word blessed you. God bless you today. Amen. Bye, brothers and sisters.